Welcome back to the Eleague Summer Series Invitational.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seats. Get your popcorn ready.
Vexy shuts down Dezo. A beautifully timed push from Drix. Rise Nation once again in the driver's seat.
Shotguns out, Icy. 4 kills in a row.
Wow, he gets one. He gets some help and he gets a second. Sleepy, big play by him. That's massive. Rushies gets another kill.
Rushie's standing up and showing them that he's the real deal.
The troops have rallied for reciprocity.
Boys, 7-1, 7-4. They progress on.
Single elim here at the Eleague Summer Series Invitational. So if you're a Rise fan, you will not see them in action again. Reciprocity progress through. We'll see them again tomorrow in a semi-final. The big question, who of course will be facing them? It's not an easy bracket by any means, but I think the one thing that you can really say you learn is Rec, new maps, as Ribs, as Colin pointed out, they're gonna be really, really good.
And you know, it just shows that the veteranship of those guys. You know, they didn't play a lot of Gears, and having that, they came in and they adapted very quickly to this one. A lot of practice over the last few days, but it just shows that the play style works out so well for them.
Once again, congratulations to Reciprocity, the first victors of their series today. Still plenty of action though here at the Eleague Summer Series Invitational. We'll be back after this with our analyst desk breaking down the action.
Beautiful plays, just like that, bro. Easy, bro. Easy.
Damn. Let's go, boys!
Keep that shit up.
Fight, Good job, baby!
Just like that, baby. Just have fight, baby.
Right back in the game. Right back in the game. Go, boys!
Let's go, boys.
Good job, man!
I played too good, bro.
Start pulling away! Alex! Start pulling away! Let's go! Let's go! Go home! Vexy! Go home! You on swords, boy!
If we violate them in initials, bro, put your foot on their necks, bro. That's it.
Bro, I'm so good at this game, bro!
It's bad.
What?
Bro.
Punch him in their mouth again.
Get these
kids
off my team. Literally send them home.
Oh, we win this map, bro. We're chilling for the rest of the day.
I'm literally sick of these kids, bro. I'm serious. I'm sick of them, bro. They're humping in warm-ups and shit. Get them out.
Took a long, hard look at both of these teams in scrims, and it looked pretty apparent to me which one was playing with the hot hand. And as the old basketball saying goes, you got to go with the hot hand, baby.
I appreciate that. Of course, these replays brought to you by Truth. And game one, we started off at training grounds. It was what we'd expected right away. It was Reciprocity looking really, really strong at the start. I mean, Icy had such a great start at the game. I think he came away with 7 eliminations right at the start of this game, Ribs. The veterans really adapting so well to this game.
Yeah, they came out hot, and it's reminiscent of Tox. Taking 4 rounds right in a row, that's so important to start the show, start the weekend like that. And I said I was going to go to map 3 because I wasn't sure how good they were on training ground, but Rec showed me these new maps, they already got them down pat.
That's veteran leadership. You talked about it early on, how a franchise, Fatal Strike, guys like that can get into these maps, really break them down, really figure out where you got to go and what placements you need to do. The deeper meta, I think, favors some veteran leadership. Big thumbs up from Rushies, though, and it really helps Rushies be dominant when you win 75% of all the initials across the 2 maps. 15 out of 20, baby.
I'm so happy he got that emote in because I was just telling you, GB, that after those 4 kills, that would be a perfect emote time. He went to the same spot the next round, got 3 kills, and Rushies threw up a thumbs up. I love that kid, man.
But now we moved over to District, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but we were hearing that this was the map that Reciprocity had favored.
Yes.
And it seemed like Rise were, you know, they had their number on this one at the beginning, but then Reciprocity, once they put their foot on the pedal, they were gone.
Once again, kudos to Fatal Strike, Fran. They had full control of the weapon tree throughout the map, both maps. The further the map went on, they had more control of what was going on. We saw the one time the drop shot went down from Rise, and it immediately got disabled the same time. The only way that happens is if Reciprocity has more control of what's going on with those weapon trees.
Yeah, very smart placement there from Reciprocity. That's going to be something that players continuously are going to develop, understand, and really implement in their game plan moving forward. There's so much to this game. This is only the first game that we've seen here, Colin, but I really feel like Reciprocity have only just scratched the surface of what they're capable of.
You said implementation, and now we're going to get to manipulation because that team can do it better than anybody. They see how the trees kind of develop, how they need to
lead us because he is our game changer. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. And this was the play right here. The drop shot connection and ribs, man. This was just nasty.
Yeah, he really took over towards the second half of this map. And I was so mad because he got a 4-piece. He threw up that emote after that. And then onto this map, that was a big flank right there. This is what he was talking about, the discipline and the 2-piece. Is the 2-piece back,
Two-piece and a biscuit, baby.
Is it back?
I think it's back. I think it's back. We're allowed to say it, maybe. We set the pace here, so we could say the 2-piece. Just as Colin had mentioned, it was as quick as a hiccup for Game 2, and it was EU's finest that will come out on top with a 2-0 victory over Mazer, sending them packing. The European region continues to live on here at the Eleague Gears 5 Summer Series Invitational. Welcome back to the desk, everyone. Golden Boy here alongside with Ribs and PR as we break things down, and we might as well jump right into our replays here, of course. Let's take a look at our truth replays, give you guys a whole scoop here because there's a lot to break down. Honestly, this was EU finest. I was coming into this one, PR, and I was like, you know, I'm feeling Mazer here. I think they might actually be able to bring that more aggressive smash mouth, as I had mentioned earlier, style. And then things kind of just like took a turn for the worse.
Yeah, no, even I was going for Mazer. I thought Lava was really going to put on a show for us. Just unfortunately, their aggression was kind of just counteracted by the passiveness from EU's finest. And you got to think, is it passive play or a calculated aggression on their end? Because they're not afraid to get in your face either.
Yeah, and we talked about the utility plays coming out from EU's finest, and I think that's what stunted the aggression and also helped the aggression for EU's finest. Those shock grenades, the insane grenades, frag grenades, they were all so on point from EU's finest, and they were just very patient and methodical, which is what we always expect coming from the best team in Europe.
They said that was their game plan. They were going to rely more on their teamwork, coordinating with one another. Gears 5 is a different type of game in comparison to Gears 4 and squads, especially teams like EU's finest that already have that inherent chemistry with one another coming from Gears 4 to Gears 5. That's huge for them, right, PR? Like, they already know what the other one's going to be thinking because they've been teaming together for so long.
No, 100%. I agree with you on that because coming into this event, I was thinking it's going to come down to those teams that have chemistry, that have that teamwork. It's not necessarily about what you know in the game because it's a fresh game to everybody around. So if you're on the same page, regardless of a good call or a bad call, you can make something out of nothing. We just saw EU's finest set a perfect example of not necessarily letting an individual shine, but using your teamwork.
And then as we take a look here at Foundation for map 2, I think that goes without saying, Ribs. This is a brand new game, new opportunities here, but when you have to deal with so many variables, a new game and a new roster, that really rattles you. That, you know, because if you're not coordinating and talking to one another, that could become quite the challenge. But it seems like EU's finest, they can have that conversation because they're familiar with one another.
Yeah, what I like to say all the time is know your role as a player.
Oh, good strat call by Ghost Gaming. Oh, I get it! That's a double for the game right here. He wins it!
And this is what Ghost Gaming does.
Dale, mátalo rápido.
Ya ganamos. Buena, cabrones.
Watch out, Danny. Keep shooting. What games are you guys playing?
Kind of form that I spoke about it. You need those repetitions under your belt.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it from the Latin American Kings, beating Glory 2-0. Coming up next, we're going to send this over to the analyst desk.
Woo! 7-0 otra vez, cabrón. Órale, güey.
Corre. Si la ganamos, no la perdemos.
¡Ay! ¡Mala mía! ¡Cada uno protege ese tipo!
Because they're so talented, but where did it all go wrong?
You know what? Me and Riz pointed out two spots where it happened at, and I will tell you this: if you're going to be an IGL and an in-game leader, you cannot be capping home hills, okay? In both of those actions, if you are going to try to lead your team, you have to be at the front line, seeing where things are crumbling, because your younger players, if they can't pinpoint that, then you guys can never fix the problem. So you always want that guy in the front, because you'll never see explosives capping homes, because that's the one area of the map where you should know what's happening.
And what that turned into is now they're playing Ghost Game. And right off the bat, we saw in District a new fight. We saw the fight over at the bandstand instead of seeing the fight in the cinema like we saw throughout today. And that was what Ghost wanted. They put a Marksa there, and they gave one of their front spawns a stun grenade. So now 3 out of their 5 players have a stun grenade. None of the other teams have done that yet today, and it worked out perfectly for Ghost.
And it did. That one stun grenade that Ghost Gaming did, their very first pick, their strategy outplayed Glory so much because Glory thought like, okay, they did a utility, they did a mid-weapon placement, we can level up our homes. But what Ghost did, they used their blocks early. So technically, they negated all the efforts that Glory had in the early game building up their home. So Ghost technically kind of kept control of the entire map for about 5-6 rounds. Got the lead, kept control.
And that is very important to note as well, right? The way that it works this time around in Gears 4 or Gears 5 versus Gears 4 is in Gears 4 it was known as a block where you would straight out faces joining us here, but we also got a new audience, so that's going to bring us to our Air Force game tactics. And Ribs, what do you want to explain today?
So this is called wolfpacking. This was the first round of the first map, and I told production, give me that clip. This is wolfpacking. For those of you that play shooting games, this is only prevalent in Gears of War. Look at all of the Swarm characters together. That's Ghost Gaming, by the way. They are elbow to elbow, and what that does is it makes sure you trade out kills. If one of your teammates dies, he is going to get that kill is still going to get cleaned up. In other games, it's more of angles. But no, Wolfpack Gears of War, it's all about staying right next to your teammate in those fights and trusting each other to hit those shotgun shots.
And it's even more influential in this game as well because it is Warzone rules, not execution. So if you go down, you want to be close to your teammates for that instant revive.
Yeah, and what's also really fun about Game 1 was a good old-fashioned barn burner here between Simplicity and Tox. But one of the reasons why Tox were able to come out on top 7-6 was because of this man right here, Mental. The shots that he was hitting, disgusting with that long shot.
You're the best in the league. This shit.
It's just
down the establishment. Tox are in trouble.
Man, you know what? Those rounds, when we saw Simplicity win 3 rounds in a row and get things popped off and get things in their favor, I thought they were going to be able to do it. But they started to lose a little bit of composure at the end. They had the weapons, missed a few key shots, but I hope in that match they got the confidence that they needed to know that they can do it.
You talk about losing composure. I was losing composure too.
Oh, man.
You were. They had a drop shot with 4 shots available, which Tox gave them for free. Not just once, but twice. And still couldn't close.
But you know who also had 4 shots available? Mental.
Yeah, that's what it was, honestly. Gilbert said, or Explosive, sorry, said, hey, Mental, your 4 sniper shots are better than their 4 drop shots. And that's exactly what happened. That was honestly the game changer, was that sniper coming into play after the disable.
Yeah, as soon as the snipe came out, Mental had his way. And I think after map number 1, when Tox take a game like that guy, when you head into game 2, it was almost inevitable, wasn't it?
It is, and it's always like that against this Tox team. If you do not take map 1 against them, they have all the confidence in the world in map 2. That's why I said when they're in good spirits and they're laughing and they're playing together, that is when they're at their best.
Not to mention, they just always have the best stamina. If you lose a long map like that, they're never going to lose the battle of attrition ever. And we've seen that all the way in Gears.
It's like they have a reserve tank of energy because they never have to go 100%. So if you do get them to a map 3, you really get to see the beast.
But if you remember before the game started, we were kind of having some fun with predictions, right? And we were all saying, oh, well, we'll see Tox tomorrow. And I think one of the quotes was, I don't think we're going to learn too much about Tox.
Yeah.
I feel like that isn't actually the case. I think we learned a fair amount from Tox there, Ribs, and they do actually look beatable.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Simplicity. Those were great players there. You know, Kyle, Zerb, Kenny turned up. I didn't expect them to take 6 rounds on Optic, and honestly, they should have, sorry, Tox, but
they should have won a map.
They could have won that map, should have won that map, and that goes to show you that Simplicity is coming, bringing their A game, but that's on for the next tournament. They're out for tonight.
Yep, of course, single limb, so for Simplicity, sadly, they'll bow out. Tox will advance forward. EU's finest, of course, a matchup that they'll face next, but you almost feel like that's going to be even closer, guys.
Oh, you know what? Against who? EU's finest?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. When you look at the first time that these guys played, it was going to be for Tox it was 7-4 EU and then 7-6 EU. And one of the maps on District, EU's finest.
Of course, a very big sum of money. $200,000, don't forget, on the line here at the E-League Summer Series Invitational, powered by Truth. We've seen some great plays. We even saw Golden Boy dance, apparently. I didn't know about that one, but it's been a wonderful, wonderful day. And as we said, the stage is set for Championship Sunday. Tox versus EU's finest, Ghost versus Reciprocity. It's going to be a wonderful way to close out the tournament. We'll see you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Last word.